raramente si trovano in queste situazioni in una fiera così, soprattutto in Italia. Sì, lo so, devo stare un po' più qua, ma non volevo venire addossare. Allora, io sono Lorenzo Fantoni di Nuove.it, sono un giornalista e mi occupo anche di giochi di ruolo del tavolo, sono un grande fan, ma sono soprattutto qua per introdurre chi andrà poi a parlare. Innanzitutto ringraziamo tantissimo la buona Nora per aver organizzato questa cosa, fondamentalmente. Un bel applauso. Alla signora Milano, giustamente, per qui con noi, anche vi dico subito, anzi prima di cominciare, che io adesso sto parlando in italiano, ma presto switcheremo sull'inglese, spero per voi non sia un problema. Se è un problema, Trench Crusade dovrebbe risolvere la sofferenza, quindi mi dispiace per voi, va benissimo così. Detto questo, vado a introdurre ovviamente Tuomas Spinning, che è il creatore del gioco.
Okay, this is what? Good. Hello, Bologna. Ciao.
Before the presentation, I'll present all the other guys. Before you start your presentation. Before your presentation, I'll present all the other guys and then we'll go for it. Poi abbiamo Marco Chitarrini, Nicola Minepuz, Giulio Pengo e Matteo Mazzuccato di Uninerd. Poi Paolo Parente, e Angelo Di Chello, ovviamente, eccolo qua, nascosto dietro lo schermo di prominenza grigia. Okay, now we can start with the slide. We will make a presentation about Trench Crusade. Maybe you know the game, but why not have another presentation? So, Thomas,
Thank you.
you have the stage.
Okay, so you had a choice between doing this in Finnish or English. Unfortunately, my Italian is below poor, so I went with the English. It's the I think that's still easier for everybody. So I want to talk to you about both how Trench Crusade was made, what we're doing right now, and what we are doing in the future. So to begin in the beginning, let's look at the how Trench Crusade came to be. So if you look at our plan, it is about as bad plan for making a game as you possibly could make. I don't think if somebody asked me advice, I could even come up with more mistakes you could make. So first of all, we wanted to do a miniature war game. I think most of you know that the miniature wargaming industry is totally dominated by one company. In a sense, there is a 100% monopoly. So the market is beyond saturated. You have no room to do anything. So we decided to go there. We also, because me and Mike from China are creatives, we hate market research. So we decided we won't do any because it would be boring and we could spend our time doing creative stuff. We also have no money. So, well, almost, because we put our own money up for it. As you might imagine, a couple of starving artists are not the greatest source of wealth in this world. We also decided that we don't want to do any marketing. First of all, it costs money, and I hate seeing ads. So I was thinking that if I see my own ad, I'm gonna get really angry, and I don't want to make myself angry and pay for it. So we decided we do no marketing. Anybody who knows anything about any product knows that marketing is the most important thing. So we decided we do no marketing whatsoever. We also thought that let's choose a subject that guarantees the game's failure. So we decided to deal with the real-world religions because we thought it was really interesting. Now, this would be anybody of you who works for any company you mentioned that thing. Let's cover Christianity, Islam, and Judaism in our product. Your boss will go berserk. So we decided to do that too. We also, because everybody again who knows anything about product development knows that the money is made in the PG-13. We wanted to do R or preferably X-rated. So we decided also not to do the area where there's lots of customers. And this wasn't by plan, it just happened later. We pissed off a lot of influencers who have a very big reach. But that one I don't regret at all. So let's go through all our mistakes. Off to where we go. So the Trench Crusade it's a game about the role of faith in war and at what point fanaticism makes you look more like your enemies. So we picked a hell as the opponent, as evil as possible. But then you look at their opponents, the peoples of the faithful nations who push both their faith and what they do in the name of their faith very, very far. At what point are they getting so close to their enemies that they truly call themselves good? But I also thought that there is no more traditional religious story than the fall of man. So we thought it fits. We also said it in the real world, because usually when people do these kind of subjects, they put them in fictional worlds, so you can always say, it's not our world, so you don't have to worry about it. And we thought that the real world history is so rich and so interesting that it's much more evocative to do it in the real world. Obviously, there are lots of religions. It's quite a bit easier to pick some obscure religion that nobody follows. So we picked all the major religions in the world, the Abrahamic ones. They are known for their tolerance for their treatment. And of course, made it for a mature audience, and we really wanted to make sure it shows. So our art deals with severed limbs, the Orthodox and the Catholic iconography, lots and lots of blood and the bare flesh, self-mutilation, torture, people being cut to pieces, and lots of religious imagery. But we were on a roll, so we wanted to commit more mistakes. So normally when you do any game, the most important thing you need is money, because you need to pay your artists, your designers, your miniature sculptors. It doesn't matter, whatever game, somebody has to pay. But there was a hitch. We did not want to give a 1 ounce of creative control away. So we decided we take no investors or big companies involved. It is also very important, by the way, to have these investors. They will advise you how you become successful. So we said we don't want any of them. And since there was nobody wise to guide us, we did all sorts of fun stuff, like a giant hell flies that they absorb humans into their flesh and leave them alive, so they are suffering while they're flying around. And we had people who go to the lake of fire and burn, so they make a holy pilgrimage, then they come back with flamethrowers and burn people. So, not a great plan, as the irony would say. This one came out of blue. So as soon as we started doing the game, we got a lot of people that, how would I say, the opinions of an extremist kind, who for some reason thought that we may make it a game for them. And to be clear, the game is neither political, nor are we trying to convert anybody. I'm not a priest, I'm not a rabbi, I'm not a mullah. The game is fictional. I just wanted to build a game world that anybody can find somebody they can play and enjoy it. Unfortunately, it called in some people for some strange reasons seem to hate everybody except themselves. Very interestingly, very much they hate women very much. So I don't understand, because the old problem is that they haven't thought this through. That where is the next generation of the master race going to come from if you are allergic to girl cuties? So there's a problem with that one. So I was asleep. I have to give credit to our mods on our channels. They threw them all out. They got very angry, very, very angry. And by the way, they've gotten even angrier lately, because I've shown these slides in the United States, and I find it very, very funny. I see all these people behind their keyboards just wobbling out of range. So they made all sorts of videos about us driving some sexual agenda, which was surprising considering they would have had lots of more impactful things to criticize, like the religious aspect, but they didn't. And we were feeling a bit glum, but then something happened. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of people started making loads of content on the social media, and they get thousands and then tens of thousands and then millions of views, and these were all people who love what we are doing. So I think that on top of them, they got very angry. They also alerted all the normal people, who then started doing content because they found the game that way. They looked at these weird people are criticizing this game, so we should check it out. And they did, and they fell in love with that, and they started doing incredible amounts of content. So I have to thank our online trolls, they've been a huge help to the project. Again, they're probably going to see this is recorded. They're going to get even angrier. Then they're going to make more videos, and then more people will discover Trench Crusade, and the circle will go on. So I'm very grateful to them. So I asked a lot of experienced people in the games industry about the doing a training, because I found very interesting cultures in Africa and Middle East that nobody touches in gaming ever. And everybody said that's too great risk. People are gonna say that if you do Africans, nobody will buy them, you're racist, and if you do Middle East, everybody there is gonna be angry at you. But I thought there is such a rich the history of the interesting military formation, culture, their own traditional mysticism, religion, that is a gold mine that's left to me, because nobody else dares to touch it. And our the keyword for covering these was don't slander, don't pander, because nobody wants to show their culture either inherently evil or people treating your culture it's this perfect picture that there could be nothing wrong with it, because it doesn't feel authentic. And I do believe that you can tackle almost any subject if you show you've done your research and you show due respect to the things that deserve respect. So this is what we came up with. You can see here a Cheva warrior from the Ethiopian Solomonic Empire wearing the Pharaoh, the warrior crown, which is the lion's mane that you can only get if you defeat the lion in close combat yourself. And these are all real. The shote, the sword he carries, which is meant to reach behind shields, is real. And of course, well, there's a bit of a question whether it's Armenia, but when you ask from people what was the first nation ever to adopt Christianity, most people would answer maybe Italy, maybe France. No, Ethiopia. The first national church was the Orthodox Ethiopian Church. So it was very funny when the missionaries came there. And we are bringing you the light of Christ. And we have been Christian for 400 years. And you only just started. Why have you come to tell us? So I thought there's a beautiful artwork, an incredible military tradition, very interesting iconography, and a great history that people don't know about. One of my favorite things about covering this area is that both the people from those cultures writing back to me how they love that they can see themselves in the game and play the game, and also people from outside their culture going that Googling, finding out all the research we did and finding out about this history. We obviously, since it's the World War, so the Middle East is dominated by the Islamic culture, and there was such a rich tapestry of artistry, and the military tradition is like you see with the Janissary. And you can see more here. We have a Ethiopian war prophet and a Yubasi captain, which I have to say is a little bit bad a name, because Yubasi means captain, but because nobody in our normal circles of customers doesn't know what Yubasi means, so he's named Captain. But maybe I'm forgiven that just to make it more accessible. But there were more mistakes to make. Obviously, Mike Francina is a great artist, and by the way, his roots are Italian, his family is from Sicily, so you can be very proud of him. But we wanted more artists, and he couldn't draw all the art himself. So we decided to go for all the top names in the industry. There are lots of problems with this, mainly being one that even hiring one of them would take way more money that we had for the entire project. But undeterred, we decided to ask them anyway. And they all said yes. So you can see a couple of examples here. Master Paul Bonner, Dave Gallagher, Les Hanley, John Blanche is the contributed art. And of course, we now added Master Mark Gibbons and the Adrian Smith. And of course, Maestro Paolo Parente. He's very, very talented. So sometimes it's worth asking, because the reason wasn't the money that they said yes, but because they were enthusiastic about the project. That's why, because Paolo can take freelance work anywhere. but it is so great to see him so enthused and the enjoying himself. And we believe that's how you make your best art. But there were more mistakes to make. So we gave away the game free. Partly this was because we wanted to get the word out, and the more barriers you put for people being able to start in a game, the less players you will have. Plus, I wanted to find out if the rules work. So we just gave it away free. We also made it miniature agnostic, because of course when we put the first rules out, there were no miniatures from us, but we will never change that. You can always use any miniatures you want on Trench Crusade. We are never going to enforce any of our own miniatures. If you like them and you buy them and you want to use them, we're happy. But if you want to use your Wargames Atlantic, Games Workshop, I don't care, War Machine, whatever you want that you feel is appropriate, you can convert them, change them as you want. Any tournaments, events we're gonna run, this will never be a problem, ever. We do no exclusives, so if we do a miniature, we will always make it available to anybody. There is one exception, if it is something like a resin cast where the mold wears out, we can do nothing about that. For example, our great graphic artist, Viktor Pushkarev, it's the wood blocks that were in sale for there. The problem isn't we wouldn't want to do more, it's because the wood block has worn out, so there is only so many we can do. But also, we will do nothing timed. I know it makes a lot of money saying that you can only buy it for this period of time here. I don't want to do that kind of business. I would rather anybody who enjoys a miniature and wants to add it to their collection, we will always offer it if we are making it. So these are our values, and again, we were strongly advised against these because these make a lot of money. But then we announced our Kickstarter. It went into the most followed and popular crowdfunding campaign in the world. It went straight to number 1, and it stayed in the number 1 for the entire duration. So let's look at then how it's the Kickstarter campaign ended. It's a bit of a disaster. We spent in all together $70,000 in making the game. We spent $0 on marketing, because that barely bought us what we needed art and miniature sculpting wise. We are well over 6 million in sales already, with over 30,000 backers, which is not half bad. Our online communities, these are all numbers, they are much bigger now. After Adepticon, we've added at least 5,000 on every one of our communities. And there are the videos that have millions and millions and millions of views. I also want to, first of all, thank all the backers. And this also allowed us to for all our miniature painters, it's the other creatives that they contributed to the initial release, is that we doubled their rewards. So we wanted to share the support we've gotten with the creatives, because we know it's tough out there, and we believe if you help us to succeed, we will want to give back to you. So yeah, that's how the campaign ended, but that's not at all of it. As we've already honored our STL sales, we can now, right now, it's just the STL sales we are getting from My Mini Factory allow us to right now not to dip at all into the money that we got from the Kickstarter campaign, which will allow us to do a lot of new things in the future, and we will return to that in a second. So, since we committed all those mistakes, we thought we need to do more. So again, traditionally, if you have something that has traction, you really hold the IP to yourself and try to maximize the income. But there are tons of incredibly creative and incredibly talented indie developers, sculptors, artists that don't really get a chance because nobody sees them. So we decided that we will share our IP that now has a traction, and we will do collaborations with them. For some levels, we just want to check them, they can keep the profits, and others, if they want us to write the background of the lore, and they do all the pushing on our social media. We'll do a deal, but either way, it's this allowed us to present a lot of very talented indie developers. We started with Westphalia. Some of you might know about this, or back then the Red Brigade. I had a great pleasure writing the lore and the rules, and Boris, the sculptor, did incredible job. They raised $500,000 already, and I think about the same on the backer kit. And this is great because they are some of the most talented miniature sculptors in the world. This will give them a chance now this year to hire more people, not to worry about the paying next salary, is they do more miniatures. So I'm super happy because I love Westphalia. The project started that they just took one of their miniatures and converted it to Trench Crusade because they loved the game, they were enthusiastic. They had no plan of approaching us. The post became very viral, we saw it and we contacted them and got talking. And this is the kind of way that we like to do our collaborations, to see if somebody has real passion and wants to do a really, really nice creative work. These are the people we want to work with, and we are happy to share our spotlight with them. If you look at how we get there, it's we put the passion and creativity first. There's a lot of risks. This could have gone wrong in many ways, but the rewards for me are not so much the monetary side. For that is nice because it allows us to do new things, but it's the being able to do the game community first, like we want. And I want there are lots of creative people in the community. How we did it isn't necessarily a template. I think every game, product, piece of art, is the miniature, whatever you're doing, is its own journey. Find yours. It's the find a vision that fits to you, your team, and it's the see what kind of talent you have and use that to your best, the advantage. So that's where we are at. So let's talk about the present. I think the success of the Trench Crusade can be distilled into the artillery witch. So what we found is that the people love artificial war machines from hell in the shape of women who open portals to hell and pull bombs and throw them at fools. Everybody loves them. Some of them to disturbing extent. The most asked for new product people ask from us is, I am not kidding you, is the artillery witch body pillow. I don't know what to think about that, but we shall see. There is so much fun work. It's you can see the people are obsessed. It's I am not sure. Quite a few people are convinced that this is the girlfriend they want. She's a mass murderer, and she's a machine. So with a crowbar perhaps. We've sponsored a lovely lady from New Zealand who is doing the entire cosplay. So look forward to Box Tara cosplay. She's doing a wonderful work. We are super happy to sponsor her. And again, she started this cosplay on her own, and we saw the passion she had. It wasn't, of course, we are happy to help her monetarily, but the reason we are doing it is because she was so passionate about the project. Let's talk about the future a little bit. So, of course, we could have, I'm not gonna lie, the campaign was also financially super successful. And yes, legally we could just, another Kickstarter, take the money, I could buy a house, I'm not gonna lie, it's true, but we do not believe that people backed us for us to do that. So we are going to now expand and continue to support the game as much as we can in the future. We want to find more indies to collab, and I'll talk a little bit about what's coming up there. We are doing the rulebook and the cards from the campaign pack, which are still part of the Kickstarter. We are pledged to bring you models for every single warband and variant that we've designed. Obviously, you want to do your own. We are super happy for that, but we also feel it's our duty for those people who maybe don't want to convert their own or do proxies. We want to offer you a chance to get them from us. And most importantly, the principles I mentioned, we are not going to sell those out. I'd rather fold the company than start it trying to squeeze people for money for the sake of money. So a couple of things from the future. You can see here our wonderful book artist Spiridon, who's done a lot of the top tier art books. You can see a little bit of the layout we are doing for the rulebook, and the more coming in the future on our social media. We are doing the new collaborations. The next one is with Creaturecaster. We are doing the Great Hunger, which is a Black Rail variant, where instead of the classic slow zombie horde, this variant is a fast, in-your-face zombie horde that is led by hags. That once you create enough inspection markers, you can exchange so she can give birth to new thralls. So then you get the expanding zombie horde that you have to cut off as quickly as possible, or you will be overwhelmed by the numbers. So here is their announcement artwork, and this one is a prototype. It's not the finished model, but you can see here one of the Great Hunger miniatures that flies and spread the infection, so that the Makatog hag can, as the infection spread, can take the infection markers and give birth to new creatures. Creaturecaster, some of you may know them. Again, a wonderfully talented, marvelous bunch of creators from Canada, which all of us should support. So we are going to do physical models for everything on the list. We will be doing multiple sets for every single faction. We didn't have time to do more than 2 for Kickstarter. We were so tight on time and money. But we will also are planning to do something maybe some people don't expect, that might be surprising, but now that we have such a great backing from our community and we have money in the bank to do it, so I will let all of you guess what it might be. Here is just a little the glimpse on what Loic is one of our posing artists is doing for the new models. I would love to show you the whole designs, but I'm afraid somebody else will do and release them before us, and that would not be. We're totally happy to share our world, but we'd like to at least be able to do our own models ourselves first, and I think that's fair. Carcassfront campaign pack. So those of you who have followed my career know that I've done several campaign packs for Games Workshop, including the Circle of Blood and the Tiers Alicia. So this is a modernized version of them. This will be a map-driven campaign where you fight for a control of the map. And how we balance this out is that the further you move on the map towards the enemy base, the harder the battles get to the attacker. So you can always go sideways, so you can stay on the difficulty level you're right now at. But this naturally balances it so that if you start losing, you have a better chance to push the front back. So most people can have a chance to win the campaign even in the end. So this is a prototype. This is not the actual artwork. This is just what we are testing. But here you can see that the further you push towards your enemy's zone, the harder the scenarios get. But if you're defending, the easier they are for you. So you get this push and pull. During the campaign, you collect the rewards for your warmen, how to develop them, and of course the treasures. You explore the areas. We will do both a narrative one where you follow a story, and then a replayable one where you can use any warman you got. Really excited about this one. Like I said, it's all the warbands and sub-factions filled with miniatures. We will do many more collaborations. And this is my most asked question on the rules side. So I can tell you, next year we will be looking at doing the warband list for the Path of the Beast, which are the Trench Crusade version of the were creatures like werewolves and others that fight for hell. The Temple of Metamorphosis. So think about a grimdark Pokemon. So your creatures, as they fight, you can evolve them during the fight. So they get different forms, and you need to use your points wisely. See what kind of form you will metamorphosize into. And also, we have a great Jewish community as well playing the game. And obviously, they say, so you have the Muslims, you have the Christians, where are we? So don't worry, the Hebrew Knights are coming. I think it's only appropriate that the game that deals with the Abrahamic religions at its core will cover them as well. The Hebrew Knights are heroic resistance fighters deep within the heretic lands. Some rumor that their secret base is on Mount Sinai, where the God gave the Ten Commandments to Moses. So that's why the Hellcat approach it. So that's just a rumor. And they strike out from there. It's the fighting against heretics, and you can expect to see war golems, because I want to do golems. I love golems. Best legend ever. So here you see some examples of the artwork. These are not the Hebrew Knights. If there is any Jewish people here, don't worry. I'm not gone off my rocker. There is a Path of the Beast and a Church of Metamorphosis samples. So this is what we are planning for the future. Let's go back to these. So to repeat before we go for the last part is our principles: no FOMO, no exclusives, always miniature agnostic, and the rules will always be available for free. Now, I was once a very poor kid in Finland who wanted to play miniature games. We all know it can be expensive hobby. So I wanted to make a game that you don't have to pay for rules, you can build your own terrain. If you want to buy a cheap $10, $20 box of miniatures that will last you for an entire game, I do not want to make a game that only rich people can play. Rich people, I'm truly grateful for the people who gave us huge support in the campaign. Don't get me wrong, I am eternally grateful, but I don't think it has to be either or. I think there is room for both in the hobby. Not everybody can be rich, and that's it. So, thank you. That's my presentation. I am now going to turn it over to lovely Villanora for the questions, and we will do a Q&A and the open a panel discussion. And I hope you ask lots of questions from other people and not just from me.
Yes. The first question is for everyone, starting with Thomas. Both the Trench Crusade Kickstarter campaigns, the first in 2022 by James Sheriff and the second one for the complete game in 2024, were huge success, without all expectation. What do you think are the motivation behind this response from the audience, and what are players looking for in Trench Crusade that they can't find elsewhere?
Yeah, I think you're right that it's good to ask everybody, because I think there will be different motivations. I believe it's a combination of things. I think there was a pent-up demand for maybe a game that follows a slightly different philosophy in the product side, as I detailed. But I also think that the right people came together at the right time. Since only other artists that I felt so comfortable and in sync to work with, my friend Gina. James is a wonderful miniatures manager for us. I found just the right partners, and I think a good miniature game needs good art that will bring people in, good lore, so when people learn about it, they are interested. They need good rules, so once they look at the art, they like the lore, they give the game a try, and if the rules work, then they will be interested in the miniatures. But I think a good miniature game needs all four, and we were lucky that just the right people came together at the right time. But again, that's just my view. I would love to hear the rest of the panel. By the way, if you want to answer in Italian, that might be very good for our audience. I don't mind.
Yeah. Well, why do you think it's not what you're saying?
Oh, well. Can I say that in Italian?
No, I'm just not.
Io lo so. I completely agree with Thomas. Well, sono completamente d'accordo con Thomas in questo. Sì, la combinazione del momento giusto e le persone giuste aiuta, però io credo che sia stato davvero osare argomenti di un certo tipo, un'iconografia di un certo tipo, in un momento specifico come questo, dove a mio avviso ben pochi, forse nessuno, osa davvero, e in quello che dopo tutto è un gioco, ok? E che dovrebbe, oddio, non credo che i giochi abbiano la pretesa di insegnare, però dovrebbe comunque sia essere percepito come tale. Il gioco è un passatempo, può far riflettere assolutamente, e Trench Crusade offre questo dopo tutto. E il fatto di porsi in un certo modo, senza compromessi, trovo sia fantastico. Io posso parlare come pittore, però in realtà sono anche un giocatore e un appassionato. Trovarmi di fronte a un gioco che finalmente, please not, che finalmente non ha problemi nel mostrarsi in un certo modo. Sapete, molti di voi mi conoscono per il Golden Limo, certe tematiche sono comunque limitate. Io adoro quel concorso, ok? Ma so perfettamente che devo rimanere entro i termini dell'IP, ok? Trench Crusade ha un IP talmente vasto e ha una libertà di interpretazione che si allarga anche ai pittori. Ricordo ancora quando Thomas mi mandò il modello del Sedite, il divoratore di peccati, non so com'è che si chiamerà in italiano, a dire la verità. E io mi feci dei problemi a pubblicare le foto di quel modello perché sulla schiena ha un cadavere mutilato. E questo è qualcosa che difficilmente troverete nelle splendide miniature, perché comunque sono anche un fan di GV, per fare un esempio, o di altre marche. Molti hanno il terrore di mostrare questo, quindi è qualcosa di molto più diffuso di quanto non possa apparentemente sembrare. E credo che giochi del genere nel nostro panorama possono essere solo benvenuti.
Forse c'era stato Kingdom Death Monster.
Però non era altrettanto violento, lo conoscevo bene.
Era solo triste.
No, secondo me era meglio, io apprezzo moltissimo le forme.
Sono stimati innanzi. So just to summarize, Angelo, you're saying like to try more and try even subjects. Yeah. And for me, I can do both. Like quick English and quick Italian summary. What I think as a casual player, very casual player, I approach a game and I see sometimes, or most of the times, games that let's say bring me into boundaries that allow me only to express some kind of stuff, like my painting skills. Zero. Okay. Basically zero, or my strategic skills. Okay. In this kind of game, I had the chance to, let's say, wake up one day and say, hey, I want to do a Monty Python warband based on Holy Grail Knights. Okay. So quello che sto dicendo è, it allows you to do. It's serious, but it's also miniature agnostic. So it really puts agency on me as a player. So do whatever you want. So the principles you mentioned there are determining the experience I get from the game. And saying you as a gamer can do whatever you want. Rules are free. You can pick your warband. I won't judge you. If you want, just purchase my miniatures. That's everything for a player. I'm not into banners. So praticamente fate quello che volete, ragazzi, prendetevi le miniature di giochi in scatola che avete nel ripostiglio piene di polvere, volete stamparle 3D. And I have to be honest, another thing, I started Trench Crusade because I got the chance to print Bestiarium files. I was in love with Holstein collection, okay? After 2 years I said, oh, that's the game for those.
We might or might not be doing a collaboration with Bestiarium.
Sono stato innamorato del lavoro di Franchina, io lo conosco italiana, per tantissimo tempo. Ho seguito il lavoro di Thomas da sempre, perché ho giocato tutti i giochi che fa. Quando ho visto che questa cosa stava succedendo, scusatemi, li ho avvicinati. In realtà non mi hanno cercato loro, sono andato in ginocchio e dire oh non può essere troppo figa. E mi hanno accettato, sono molto felice, spero che l'approvazione continui perché secondo me è evidente che il successo che hanno avuto è un successo meritato dal coraggio che hanno ma anche dalla grande passione. Oggi trovare aziende dove i leader dell'azienda lavorano con passione è rarissimo, è difficile, quindi io li ho voluto assolutamente avvicinarmi, assolutamente proporre il mio lavoro e collaborare perché caspita, è un'occasione unica. Sono due geni che si sono trovati a costruire un universo meraviglioso, entusiasmante e farlo semplicemente per passione.
parlerò direttamente in italiano, che forse è. In realtà non ho molto altro da aggiungere, ma sentirlo dire da te questa cosa che hai detto, immaginati noi come Uninerd, che siamo molto molto piccoli, non abbiamo mai fatto niente di così importante, non è? Avere esattamente. No, la cosa incredibile è stata, siamo stati catturati proprio dalla prima volta in cui comunque abbiamo avuto la possibilità di parlare con lui, perché si vedeva proprio, cioè ha trasmesso la passione. Abbiamo avuto l'occasione di parlarci praticamente subito ed è stato bellissimo. E perché il gioco ha tanto successo? Beh, l'abbiamo detto, forse anche perché è proprio lui, no? Ok, e quindi questa cosa si vede e dal mio punto di vista, come avete già in realtà detto, c'è spazio un po' per tutti all'interno, quindi fondamentalmente è uno di quei giochi dove prima di pensare alle meccaniche del gioco, prima di pensare diciamo a tante cose che possono essere più legate alla parte matematica, se così vogliamo dire, uno pensa alla sua workbench, uno pensa alla parte artistica, anche se magari con la parte artistica di solito non ha a che fare, e questo secondo me è già tanto. E boh, non è che ho molto altro da aggiungere, ma questa è la cosa.
Anch'io ho pochissimo da aggiungere, più o meno abbiamo detto già tutti. Parlo da disegnatore 3D, ovviamente l'ambientazione è stata fantastica sin dall'inizio. Io ho seguito il primo Kickstarter solo di James e Mike, avevo preso le miniature da semplice privato, così ho pleggiato il Kickstarter e da subito ho detto devo disegnare qualcosa per questo gioco, che all'epoca ancora non era un gioco, perché erano solamente un'idea e delle miniature. Ho saputo poi che Thomas si è aggiunto al team per la scrittura del gioco, insomma ho detto devo disegnare qualcosa. Quindi da disegnatore è l'ambientazione quella che più colpisce. Poi ovviamente in generale, secondo me, il rompere un tabù che fino ad ora era stato un tabù, appunto, hanno avuto l'ardire di rompere quel tabù della religione, che ovviamente preso alla leggera perché è un gioco, alla fine piace.
Okay, so looking back, we talk about mechanics now. I like Mordheim, which was a famous creation that now is taken from the now community is keeping them alive, which is another great example of how we work. This is a new kind of mechanics, and it's quite dynamic. It's more like an RPG with miniatures, maybe. It's something very, very narrative, the core mechanics are very driven by the narrative of the set. Can you go into detail about this, how you create the mechanics of the game? Maybe if you have played the game and you want to add something as a player, it's fine, but we would like to talk about mechanics, how you start to think about them and how you develop them.
Okay, so you can see influence of two games that I played. That gave me maybe an initial spark. My daughter is very into D&D, so I run a lot of the campaigns. You'll notice the advantage and disadvantage system, I think, is the best one. So I started looking at I like the fact that I don't have to do maths. I need to hit a number, but I just add another dice. I like that because it meant that me as a DM, I am truly forever DM, 32 years. I don't have to do maths. I have a number I need to hit and I roll. And then I thought I can expand that on both directions to influence the probability curve. However, I like 2d6 because it gives me a lot of results in the middle, and the extremes are rarer. So it makes it easier for me to predict the game and make it less swingy. And that also means if you're lucky, you're really lucky, and it feels like very special. And if you're unlucky, it's you can really, it stinks. But I can also easily manipulate them by adding and removing dice. So you get plus and minus dice system. But it also means it's much faster to play. That was one of the influences. The other, I play a historical game called Saga, which has exhaustion points that you place on the enemy units. I like the idea that I interact with the enemy units. I don't like it that they stop the other people from moving at all. But one of my big goals was that how to get rid of downtime. So it's fun when you are playing and moving miniatures and rolling dice, and it's boring for the opponent. but the blood and blessing mechanic engages me even when it's my opponent's turn. Okay, do I use blood markers? And how do I use them? Do I try to make them stop from dashing or hitting me in melee or shooting? Or will I start use them for injury rolls? Or am I trying to build up enough blood markers to create a bloodbath? So all the time when my enemy is moving, I'm thinking what I can do. I also try to do it as much as possible in other rules. For example, the scatter dice. The opponent decides in which direction the scatter dice goes when it misses. The inches come directly from the amount of the miss. So again, it's much faster. We don't have to add dice rolls. And the game flows better, because I wanted games typically to take 45 minutes to an hour. It's for if you know the rules. And this is also why there's only 2 tables. In normal war game, you usually, in skirmish especially, you need 4 rolls to see if action succeeds, to see if it overcomes the obstacles such as toughness, to see if it overcomes armor, and then you roll what happens. That's 4 rolls, so I reduced that to 2 to hit, and the injury and armor are baked into the second roll, and that's it. That means that the typical turn in combat takes half as much time than almost any other war game. So this keeps the game flowing. So that's the most important mechanics are those features. Everything else is just icing on the cake. If you know those 2 tables, you can play Trench Crusade. So maybe a quick Italian summary.
I don't think it's very, very deep. But did you understand the units of translation for that? They understood.
Yeah, excellent.
Do you want to add something as a player? Maybe?
Yeah, any player wants to add anything, please do. I'm curious.
Yeah.
I just say one thing in Italian. It's, ragazzi, in 5 minuti io adesso volendo potrei spiegare le regole. Cioè, se voi venite allo stand, ci sono 2 opzioni. O vi faccio col buon Matteo una demo con un modello che si muove, attacca, allora ti spiego la regoletta, oppure vi spieghiamo 2 tabelle, la meccanica dei dadi in positivo e dadi negativo, quindi il vantaggio che diceva prima, no? Le meccaniche di D&D con dadi premi risultati più alti o più bassi, e dopo il resto sono keyword che si annullano tra di loro e profili da sapere con gli equipaggiamenti. I profili dei personaggi sono movimento, quanto è bravo a sparare, quanto è bravo a picchiare, quanto armatura ha. Basta. Il resto è tutto composizione della world band, quanto la vuoi personalizzare, quindi è veramente easy to learn, dopo to master e poi c'è la botta di culo. E infatti demo quante ne fate a Milano? Prima ancora che uscisse.
Un'altra cosa che piace tantissimo alla gente, e questo lo possiamo confermare, è che non è mai, come dire, anche nel momento in cui è passiva, non è mai realmente ferma, proprio perché questi block marker permettono all'altro di, come dire, dare fastidio all'avversario mentre sta facendo qualcosa. E questa cosa piace tantissimo anche a chi magari di questi giochi magari non è il suo pane quotidiano, oltre a non trovarlo negli altri giochi, in generale è proprio una meccanica che attira la gente e lo fa sempre mantenere attento all'azione che sta succedendo, e questo sicuramente aiuta tantissimo.
Ok, allora, qui abbiamo già risposto in parte, però facciamo lo stesso. Allora, this question is for everyone. Putting aside the technical part, both games rely a lot of the narrative part, Mordheim and Trench Crusade. They not only have a lot of lore behind them, but they leave to the player enough room to build his own place into the gaming world, creating costume character, etc. What appears as one of the main pillars? Do you think that's one of the keys for both games? The success of Mordheim and Trench Crusade?
Absolutely, and it is not tied to the rules alone. If you look at the art and the miniatures and the rules and the lore, we put a lot of effort in both games. That if we describe a werewolf, that in the game it's going with its chainsaw mouth against your armor target, it just cuts through it. It needs to feel like it's described in the lore. So when you're playing it, it should feel like you are playing exactly the kind of character, monster, hero, villain as the lore describes and the art looks like. This is much harder to achieve because you need at least 3 creatives, the writer, the artist and the miniature designer to work perfectly in tandem. They need to be on same wavelength. Of course, if the art looks wrong, if it looks like a sort of a funny clownish character, and the law describes a scary monster, and the rules make it very weak, and this happens often in games, you are taken out of the fantasy. So I think the immersion in the lore is crucial, and I do not think that the immersion in the lore and the feel of the game is in no way in opposition of a decent game balance. We are not trying to do a perfectly balanced game, but every warband should have a decent chance to win against any other. But I do think that it's more important that all the units in the game and the weapons, they feel as they should. Like when you throw a grenade, it should feel like it acts exactly like you thought it would. So that's the mind. So, but everybody else, I don't know. It's the how much on the you had a chance to play, but I'd love to hear other opinions. I always want to put him on the spot. It's fun. Yeah.
Io in realtà ho avuto poche occasioni ancora di giocare seriamente a Trench Crusade, però posso confermare il percepito descritto da Thomas. È vero, si ha davvero l'impressione che le regole seguono perfettamente l'aspetto dei modelli. Cioè, effettivamente a me viene sempre da citare il Solitaire perché è il modello a cui sono più legato, però in realtà anche il Werewolf, se non sbaglio, il lupo da guerra, credo l'abbiamo tradotto, correggetemi, dà veramente l'idea di un modello violento che si fa strada facilmente attraverso le truppe nemiche, e lo fa facilmente.
Paul, maybe in a few words, was you just describing how the arm and the rules of matching can create a conflict, yeah?
I haven't had a chance to play Trench Crusade yet, unfortunately. I've been very busy with work and the days and weeks and months, etc. But I must say that in my experience, yes, when the look of the figurine and the effectiveness of the figurine on the battlefield, so much it sucks. Here, I mean, there is no such a thing. And I must say, again, the cool factor of this product is amazing. So, knowing your voice. So, again, everything in the game is cool. The rules, the models, the art, it's just the best.
Voglio aggiungere una cosa per i giocatori italiani un po' più datati. Quindi che... Ah sì? Prego? Ah no, datati. Per chi ricorda, proprio allacciandomi al discorso fatto da loro riguardo all'aspetto dei modelli, le regole in gioco e poi il percepito, dirò soltanto due parole: Centauro del Fato. Sì, hai ragione, Centauro del Fato.
I just I don't know what we're talking about. We didn't talk about actions. Okay. Actions are another great thing about the agency that Trench Crusade gives you, because puoi fare quante azioni vuoi. Se tu puoi farle, puoi muovere, anzi caricare, sparare se hai un'arma d'assalto che ti permette di sparare, hai possibilità di un'abilità speciale, lanciare una magia, cioè non sei limitato a due azioni, scegli roster di azioni, no? Che è un'altra cosa fighissima che ti Trench Crusade. Sei libero con quel modello di fare tutto quello che quel modello in quelle situazioni può fare, sei tu che fai una buona combo dopo.
O comunque puoi usare delle azioni definite ma nell'ordine in cui le vuoi. Già questo cambia tanto.
Marco Paolini si è aggiunto. Abbiamo già subito una domanda per te adesso, Sì. Abbiamo aspettato. Sì. Allora, this question is for Giulio, Matteo and Mark.
Giulio,
You had to deal with the localization of the game in Italian. a monumental work, not just for the amount of things to translate, but also because the original search is in very specific name, terminology and quotes taken from historical and religious traditions. What do you like to tell us which work method you use to do the job, and if you encountered any difficulties?
Diciamo che siamo partiti con la nostra esperienza anche di giocatori e di altri sistemi di gioco, quindi cercando di darci come metodologia quello di creare un linguaggio più uniforme possibile sulla traduzione. Nel caso di Trench Crusade diciamo che è stato, per me almeno, un'agevolazione il fatto delle keyword, no? Quindi trovato la parola giusta per tradurre la keyword, dopo da lì a cascata ci siamo mossi per tutto il resto. Abbiamo cercato, il metodo è stato lavorare, tradurre, riguardare e poi dopo cercare di rimettere in fila tutta la traduzione, riarmonizzare tutte le terminologie e via dicendo. Per quanto mi riguarda, insomma, questa è stata un po' l'ottica del lavoro.
Magari aggiungo un paio di cose. Allora, intanto devo dire che tra i tre io sono quello più scarso in inglese. È già qua, partiamo bene. Devo anche dire una cosa, Giulio è stato forse la persona che poi si è preso in carico alla fine, perché alla fine di tutto, i vari set di traduzioni e le varie revisioni delle revisioni, una delle cose che accade è dobbiamo cercare di armonizzare tutto, cioè tante volte, soprattutto quando c'è tanto lavoro e tanto materiale, è chiaro che qualcuno, insomma, che sovrintenda, se così vogliamo dire, o che si prende in carico di dover armonizzare tutte le terminologia serve. E questo sicuramente è un qualcosa che in un regolamento che è vivo, perché il regolamento cambia in questa fase, ok? Abbiamo anche sempre nuove versioni, è sicuramente qualcosa che non è semplicissimo. Una buona metodologia, come ha già detto Mark, è sicuramente quella di creare un linguaggio comune e quindi un grandissimo glossario da utilizzare tutti e soprattutto capire come quella parola viene usata e in che contesto. Questo è sicuramente una cosa che ci ha aiutato molto e da cui siamo partiti probabilmente. Se posso dire una cosa che invece mi è piaciuta tanto, non so se era un'altra tua domanda, ma è stato quello, io non sono assolutamente esperto di storia, non sono assolutamente esperto di armi, ok? Ma quello che ti viene voglia, non sono esperto di religione, ecco, lo dico perché quello che sicuramente però a me è successo è che quando trovavi un'abilità di un pezzo, di un modello o qualcosa, quel nome, quella frase che era scritta, quell'esclamazione ti faceva venire voglia di informarti, di ricercare su quell'argomento. E questo secondo me ha fatto, nel mio caso, per la traduzione, 3/4 della cosa, perché ti viene voglia di informarti e di capire come quella cosa veniva usata e come quella cosa può essere contestualizzata al meglio all'interno.
Il termine più adeguato cercavamo di capire appunto anche visto che alcune cose erano sconosciute, no? Alcune armi piuttosto che riti o termini religiosi erano sconosciuti, siamo andati anche a vedere diciamo, l'etimologia della parola e capire anche il contesto nel quale veniva utilizzato, quindi, e poi per riadeguarlo poi alla lingua italiana cercare di dargli un termine più coerente possibile.
Sì, direi che più o meno avete detto che stavo pensando, lato mio forse pezzettino in inglese, you have one scene, if I may, Master Thomas, you are too prolific. You are
For sure.
Corre, ok, abbiamo appena
Stop.
Esatto. Abbiamo appena finito un antiochia noi scriviamo banano, lasciate stare. Banano, abbiamo appena finito un antiochia, Mark, non importa. Ma appena buttato fuori la corte del serpente a 7 teste. Come appena buttato fuori la corte del serpente? Altre 30 pagine da tradurre. It was hard to stay behind your pace, you know. A new lore, new set of skills, new set of profiles, changelog, But we have to dobbiamo ringraziare la community. Quindi ringraziamo anche Giovanni, Sniper Troll, ha fatto un lavoraccio per mandarci un sacco di segnalazioni dal changelog, per esempio. Quindi la community è stata tanto attiva sul gruppo Facebook, decine di persone che pubblicavano robe, tanti che ci scrivevano, guarda che c'è l'errorino qui, o senza, e suggerivano anche. Quindi the community was great in helping us.
Yeah, but the irony is that right after the artillery which pillow, the second most requested is thing I want more of the lore and more of the rules. This is partly because people have their favorite factions, and this is for all war games, because you can't advance every faction every week, so you always can at most please 1/6 of the fan base. And then all the other 5-6 are waiting. When it's my faction's turn? So unfortunately, I feel I'm being too slow. Yeah, absolutely. I would like everybody to be happy. It's just perfection is impossible. Yeah. Next question, maybe.
Next question, we have Mark on the spotlight. To do it in Italian, but we're talking about scenery. Marco, la programma di allora, ci sono tantissimi pezzi veramente belli, molto suggestivi, però ovviamente questi pezzi poi vanno posizionati in uno scenario che sia altrettanto bello. Il tuo obiettivo, il tuo task era proprio questo di andare a creare dei pezzi di scenario, soprattutto dei pezzi che fossero anche adeguati a chi magari, tipo me, non è proprio il massimo degli esperti nel creare queste ambientazioni. Quindi ci interessava capire un po' il tuo approccio, che se non sbaglio era un po' un approccio stile Lego a questa cosa. Quindi se puoi risponderci su questa domanda.
Allora sì, intanto grazie perché accomunare al Lego il mio lavoro è un ottimo complimento, cioè insomma è uno dei più bei complimenti, però sì, quella è effettivamente l'idea che abbiamo avuto. Come prima ha detto Thomas, le giuste persone al giusto posto, che anche io, diciamo, non essendo un professionista, mia fortuna sono stato al giusto momento, nel giusto luogo, con le giuste persone, ad esempio loro e un altro amico Dario Lombardi che mi hanno presentato a Thomas. Io, come detto, ho già iniziato per mio conto questo lavoro di disegno delle trincee, e giustamente Thomas allora ha detto ovviamente un gioco chiamato Trench Crusade deve avere per forza delle trincee. Sul gruppo Facebook sia internazionale che italiano era pieno di gente, era credo uno dei più attivi, dove anche Marco col suo super tavolo stava facendo lavori manuali, quindi con legno di balsa, con qualsiasi cosa, cioè, in pochi mesi sono usciti fuori il suo per primo, tavoli fantastici. Quindi abbiamo pensato, troviamo un modo per far fare dei tavoli buoni, semplificati a chi non ha tutta quella manualità, chi non vuole, oppure chi, come me per esempio, io disegno sempre cercato di pensare a me a poco tempo. Quindi io quando disegno penso cosa farei per me, cioè cosa vorrei io per velocizzare il lavoro, perché comunque la parte principale sono sempre le miniature, il tavolo fa da contorno, però deve essere comunque un buon contorno. Chi gioca a Mondiale, chi gioca a giochi del genere sa che comunque anche l'ambientazione fa il suo insomma. Questo è stato l'approccio.
So next question is for everyone, in particular Thomas and Marco. I think we can say that Trench Crusade lived the time, it embraced not just being agnostic about miniatures and the free rules distribution, but also something is revolutioning the marketing these days, 3D printing. And to me, this thing has a role in the game success, of course. Despite, for example, Jivu, which is apparently just pretending 3D printing doesn't exist. What do you think about it, both in the specific case and in general? And how do you think things will evolve, and do you fear some sort of market saturation at a certain point?
So what I think about it is you have to see that first of all, if you look at the kind of success we had, because we wanted to deliver the Kickstarter in 4 months, because usually it takes 4 years. I'm not blaming anybody, but we all know Kickstarters can go wrong. It's very easy. So, and we are shipping 1.5 million physical miniatures. That's a lot of miniatures. If we didn't have the 3D printing, as well, we would be in a really big trouble because we simply could not deliver all those miniatures. So the 3D printing to us has been helped because our fans have already been able to get the models, start painting them, converting them, using in their games, playing games. So to us, it's been just a great help. I passionately believe that people who want to support us and are able to do so will do that, even if, I mean, you can go to Telegram and download our files for free. I know that. Not a problem. I know that the people who want the game to go on, people are not stupid. They know that if they want to support the game, and if it doesn't make money anyway, we can't continue. So I have absolute faith that our fan base, if they think the game is good enough, that the miniatures are good enough, and they want to see more in the future, they will support us. I think that the pirates would never support us anyway, so I don't see us losing anything. But the other important part is that we literally, about a third of our miniatures came from the STLs. And that's just the backers, and many of those have printed many miniatures. We could have never delivered all those miniatures ourselves. We only found one company that was even willing to try to deliver our Kickstarter because there were so many miniatures. Everybody else said no, which was surprising. People don't, but I understand it's a lot to do. So I see no problems with that. I understand the fear that lots of companies have. But I come back to it that if you make a product that the people are passionate about, they will decide themselves to support you. I do not believe the fact that you could get any of our miniatures for free right now. I don't think it sways our fan base at all. That's my feeling.
Cerco di rispondere per quanto è il mio pensiero, insomma, specie sull'ultima parte della saturazione. Non credo che ci sarà una saturazione, perché parlando dell'approccio che ha Thomas, insomma, tutta la società per il gioco, perché comunque come con il kit bash, il lasciare liberi di usare qualsiasi miniatura, loro anche sono contenti se, ora non mi sta capendo, però nel senso, sono contenti se anche altri disegnano 3D e fanno magari la stessa miniatura però sotto il loro punto di vista. Per dimostrare ciò, per esempio, è una cosa che ho detto in questi giorni spesso, stanno uscendo adesso gli artwork del pavato, ovviamente, e fondamentalmente non credo, o comunque ancora devono uscire le miniature ufficiali del papato. Questo dimostra che non importa se poi qualcun altro ora le disegnerà guardando l'artwork di Paolo, sicuramente tra una settimana avremo il cardinale, ma non quello ufficiale, perché comunque non c'è questa paura, anzi credo che anche sia invogliato, sia promossa questa cosa.
He's saying that you have not fear of other people trying to interpret your miniature or the artwork for the miniatures.
I'd like to add one more thing. Is that, by the way, I do not think that there is anything wrong with doing physical-only models either. For example, some plastic kits simply they can't be 3D printed because of technical reasons. I don't think that either one is wrong. But that also means I don't think there is anything wrong with 3D printed stuff. And if there is like a kit that is you can only produce in physical only, that is not a problem either. I don't see them in a competition with each other. They both can exist happily together. That's not a problem.
Okay, I think we run to the last question, and then we have the question for the Q&A. Yes. Okay, I was very happy to when you said that you kicked out from the community all the people that were screaming, "This is woke, this is for me," and they are violent, because a great problem for a game who is starting to develop is the community, because you have the right way of you have the right community, and the feeling of the community must be warm and welcoming, not like old people screaming at each other. And what I was saying is that it's funny because usually more the game is dark and grit, the more the community is funny and happy because maybe they get it's all a big joke. So how much is important to have an unhappy and funny community all around the game for you and for everybody?
I think it goes together. I come from Finland, and we are the country of death metal, like the dark horror and the body horror. We are known for the long winters, depression, and we are every year. The study finds us as the happiest people on planet Earth. Sometimes I'm surprised about the result, but I think, and they've done studies in this, that the people who consume, because there is a dark part to all of our psyche, but people who are consuming in their entertainment and the sort of are able to deal with it, because at the end of the day, a game is a safe environment to experience horror. I like Dark Souls, Elden Ring. Obviously, I wouldn't have made more time or Trench Crusade if I didn't enjoy the subject matter. But I found that the more a community is into really, really dark subject matter, the more friendly, warm, and balanced, healthy, and the least aggressive and violent the community tends to be. And there is also academic studies that back this up. I think it is good for you to explore the dark sides of human psyche in a safe environment. So, since they keep voting us as the happiest people in the world, there must be something to it, because we have the highest possible saturation of death metal bands in the world. It can't be an accident. Anybody else?
Angelo?
Couldn't agree more. I think you need a good degree of intelligence to understand you're playing a game before prima di denunciarlo come negativo. E Trench Crusade è veramente un ottimo esempio di questo. Scusate per l'inglese e l'italiano, ma mi sento più a mio agio parlare in italiano.
I think also the rule of cool that makes everything so funny.
I would be interested, Paul, because as an artist, you've done a lot of delved into a lot of dark subjects, which is slightly different than me doing it writing. It's the experience I don't have. So I would be interested to see how you approach when you are illustrating something very dark and grim and the sort of a terrible. It's the violent. It's in your art. How do you approach it?
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's total fun. I think my mind works in a funny way. I see the extravagant, super violent images as just a comic. I like very dark jokes. I have a very bad and politically correct sense of humor, and I really swim into it very happy. So, watching this type of imagery for me is like a comedy. It's the way it is.
It wasn't called Divine Comedy for nothing. Anybody else want to maybe have a reflection?
Yeah, that's perfect. And I could add just of this relationship between dark and gore and funny and open people that probably you can better express with other people your feelings if you, let's say, accepted your shitty aspects, you accepted your defects. You are not perfect as a person, and so if you explore the angry emotions you have, if you explore the hate, and you are transparent with someone that you hate something or someone, if you are completely free to express these things, then you can also relate better with other people. I've been doing karate for 25 years, and part of karate is at the beginning and at the end of a training session, you have to do the saluto, so the bow. And you have 30 seconds, 1 minute, to just breathe and stay within yourself. That's great because you enter in yourself and think about your emotions. And probably, these gory feelings that we express in our miniatures, in our, the black flag, this, what was that? A fly made of bodies screaming and stuff like that allows you to also tell the others, I know that you inside too have these kind of shitty things, okay? And we can talk about it. And that's probably why people of these kind of communities are more open to each other.
I just want to say yes. It's the point Thomas was making, that probably we all have a dark side inside us, and the thing is that we gamers, we love this kind of games because we just pull out our dark side and put it on the table and leave it there. I mean, just as a game. We know it's a game. I mean, it's just a way to pull out and throw out, I mean, our dark side, but in a joyful, I would say, and playful way.
For me, that's something more. Just we talk about emotions and relationship between in game and inside and outside, but also the relationship between the different players and different persons in the community are very, let's say, good, because just took for example the translation. Okay, everyone that contact us in the community, it doesn't seem like you make a wrong thing or you translate bad this word. No. It's just something suggestion. Want to help you to complete a task or perform better what you are already prepared for the community. And this is something that, in my opinion, is what a community is. Stay together not only for the fun things, but also help together to reach the same, objective, the same aim. And this is very important, I think.
Something?
No, it's the, I think it's
Start with Q&A.
Yeah,
Ok, adesso c'è il momento per le vostre domande, se ne avete ovviamente, se non ne avete non importa, però se ne avete alzate la mano, se ne avete dovreste farle. Se ne avete
Yeah. And you can ask in Italian if somebody will translate. Don't be shy, if you...
Hi. My question is for everybody. We heard that history is a pillar of this idea, but also for the creative process. What do you think about how the game can teach us something about us and about the other? For example, as I already said, I love the Sultanate. I love the idea of watching the other beside a truthful mirror, maybe obviously fantasy with his creation, but what are your feelings about history, teaching, and gaming?
So
my question is for them.
Yeah. So for us creators, we do a lot of research and we use on purpose terminology and events and the weapons and the armor and equipment that is rooted on history. Of course, we also invent things, but we know people then go and find out about them and usually learn about history. But I want to, for example, say that often what happens is we look at something in history and we go, that's so extreme and ridiculous that we can't put it on game because everybody will laugh. I'll give you an example, the Prussian tank hunter swords. People say, oh, that's completely extreme. But that is based at when us Finns fought the Soviets in Winter War, and we had no anti-tank weapons. So the Finnish troops attacked the Soviet tanks in melee with logs. So they brought pieces of wood and jammed them into the tanks so they wouldn't move. And if you put that in game, everybody will think it's a comedy. So so actually a sword splitting tank is way less ridiculous what happened in real life, where people had just pieces of wood and they actually destroyed a lot of tanks that way. But if I made a unit with logs, it would be realistic, it would be historical, but it also would be hilarious. So most of the time, if we look at something on history, I have to tone it down for fantasy game because real history is so insane and extreme that I can't use it because everybody would think I'm being completely over the top.
Actually, one thing I can add is about the classics. You know, you can find a lot of Netflix series that are like bloody and gore, but if you look at Greek tragedies, you will find a lot of terrible stuff. You look at the Bible; it's full of examples of terrible plots. And so,
Ci sono altre domande? Alzate la mano che arrivo. Di.
First of all, thank you. We need a game. This time, we really need a game with naked nuns fighting with witches who throws bomb. Genius. Okay. We live in curious times because people lose interest really fast, and projects look or great or trash. There are no halfways in our times, and people really take interest in the span of 20 seconds to 2 minutes in time of a reel or a TikTok. How do you think this game could last to 5 to 10 years? What's your project for the future? And how could you keep your identity without adding new things to just keep the attention high during this span of time?
Well, obviously I don't have a crystal ball, and again there might be a very different views on this, but I really believe that the long engagement comes from solid foundations. I believe that our world that we're creating, because it's based on such an incredible long history in real world, it's not our history, but it is based on it. So I could create so many stories. There's so much art we could draw for any of the nations. You've seen the map. We could spend years on any part of the world. So I don't think we'll run out of things to do. Part of it is that you have to be a good custodian to the rules, so that you keep the listening to the audience and keeping a reasonable balance and adding interesting things. But really, every single game, IP, franchise that has lasted for a long time, it's usually started with a strong foundation on world building. And that is something that I've always felt that as a game designer, that is, or a rather law creator for games, that's probably my biggest strength. So I think as long as the people find the world interesting, they are interested to hear more stories based on that world. And yeah, there's lots of other things. You need to keep up with the trends with the miniatures. You need to produce amazing art. But the thing with us creatives is that I don't think you've ever grown tired of making art. It's your passion. Games are passion to me. So it isn't a trouble for us because we want to do really great stuff. I'll give you an example. The great director Akira Kurosawa. He was writing a new screenplay on his deathbed. And his doctor asked, "Why are you doing this? You are about to die." And he said, "But I might come up with something really good." So as long as you can keep this is really, your answer is that when I write something, I'm thinking maybe I come up with something really good. And if I come up with something really good, people will keep on being interested. I don't have a formula. Like if there was a formula for making great art, great games, great lore, whatever it is, any creative effort, everybody would be doing it. There isn't. So you really just have to study and research a lot, and find something you're passionate, and then have enthusiasm for making something great. If I ever felt I don't want to make games, I would stop, because you can't make a good game if you are not really passionate about it. I assume if you hated miniature painting, you would give up. Exactly. You wouldn't do art, you wouldn't do the translation, you wouldn't build the great communities, Mark. As long as you have passion, I think other people will see. You're right, it's very difficult to succeed in today's world, but Chinese have a saying, it's if you want to eat a bear, you have to go after the bear. Either the bear will eat you or you will eat the bear, but either case you have to go after the bear. So you just have to release stuff and believe in it. That's my view. But again, people might have different ideas.
I give you credits that nowadays I absolutely agree with you. The attention level is really low, and this is true most of the time. But if I had to do a parallel with Trench Crusade, more time has been mentioned before. This game was published 26 years ago. It survived without any new rule, official ones, I mean. And every now and then you receive new rules from Thomas, I know, but how long did it take? I mean, 20 years ago the game was already, or was still on sale probably, but was already dying from the GW perspective, but it was still alive for any gamer and collector. And I want to give you another example, an older one that still shares something that I perceived somehow on Trench Crusade. Well, it's probably more simple, but think about Hero Quest or Warhammer Quest. They survived without any kind of support for decades. And even Blood Bowl. I mean, the examples are many. And like Thomas said before, it doesn't have a crystal ball, but I'm pretty sure, and I've said that before, Trench Crusade is going to be a milestone as much as those games before. That's my take on it.
Another question? Domande? Di
Ci provo in inglese, ma un po'. Ah, ok. Allora, a posto. Allora, la gente vuole vedere sempre di più su Trench Crusade. Cioè, ci sono persone che vogliono giochi di ruolo, tipo D&D, ci sono persone che vogliono fumetti, libri, romanzi, videogiochi. Credo che in questo momento qualcuno stia sviluppando una mod per Earth Iron 4. Sì, proprio in questo momento. Sì. Ma volevo sapere, avete pensato, dopo il grande successo del Kickstarter e tutto quanto, di uscire, diciamo, fare qualcosa, collaborare con degli studi, tipo per la creazione di videogiochi o romanzi, anche lavorare con gli autori per romanzi ufficiali,
reaching some maybe someone who writes novels, someone who can write video games, someone who can comics, something like that. I would like to write a novel, for example.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Part of it is, of course, that the Games Workshop is a company of 4,000 people. We are 4, so there is only so many hours per day. But our most successful collaborations have come from the other people's passion. We are talking to, I hired Graham McNeil a long time ago to games industry. We're obviously talking to him. We'd love to do novels, comics, if we'd find the right team. Because we don't have the resources to start those ourselves. And here I'm talking more about time rather than money. We've been sort of being very open to collaboration. So if a great comic team or somebody is very passionate about doing a novel and wants to work with us, we are all open. We are also talking actively to video game companies and the entertaining proposals. But we do want it to be the right course. We want to keep the quality as high as possible. And the other thing that is important is that we take our duty to deliver the Kickstarter on time seriously. So many companies have just, okay, we got their money, we're going to start doing other things. So the next couple of months, not long now, but we will not dilute our focus, because we want people to get their physical miniatures and we want to finish the rulebook and give it to the backers. The last thing people who are supporters want to hear that we've dropped our quality control and we are pushing the work on the rulebook and we are working on other projects. But again, remember, 4 people, that's not a lot, so we have to pick our balance. But the real answer is that if you know a great comic book team that would love to do a Trench Crusade comic, send them our way. We will absolutely entertain ideas. Even on the artist front, like the Mark Gibbons, Adrian Smith, and Paul Burr all approached me. Not because I would have, if I had time and I thought they were available, I would have asked them, but I thought they were working with Simon or somebody, and they all came to me. So the best way to see something in Trench Crusade you'd like to see is to enforce somebody who's good at it, to contact us. We would love to work with us. But yes, we want to do all those things, but it is very easy to try to bite more than you can chew. So we also don't want to try to do 100 things at once and fail in all of them.
But you are actually going to build an artillery which body,
Well,
We'll make you rich.
yeah, Mike doesn't want to do it for some reason. Jamie, our CEO, just thinks that that's going to make more money than everything else put together. I try to stay out of that discussion. I've been to Japan. I've seen the body pillows. They haunt my dreams. So I'll see if this comes to reality. I'll try to stay away, because if it's successful, then I'll come and I'll claim that I came up with it, and I'll take all the credit. And if it causes huge scandal, then I'll blame other people. That's my strategy.
Bene, se non ci sono altre domande vi chiederei un grandissimo applauso per tutti. Il gioco sapete dove trovarlo, comunque in Uninerd.it potete andare dove volete. Esatto, mi dicono giustamente stand 29 o 29 M40 o 29 M40 del Pechino 18, quindi se volete andate là, prima di tutto non trovate più quello del volume italiano perché è andato sold out, mi dicono. Però quindi che è una cosa bella, perché e l'ultimo applauso a Villanova, grazie a lei per aver raccontato tutto. Grazie a voi e buon play.
Una trincea.
Grazie.